In the intricate fabric of human existence lies a mysterious knowledge, not a mere theoretical conjecture, but an operating principle hidden for millennia, the intrinsic ability to understand the language of birds. This revelation, far from being a chimera, was a consolidated practice among the eminent priests of ancient Egypt. Through this peculiar ability, they not only guided the pharaohs, but also peered into the veil of the future, for they recognized in birds not mere winged creatures, but true messengers, vibrant bridges between the earthly dimension and the spiritual realm. The code for deciphering these messages, jealously guarded, is rooted in the essence of Thoth, the tutelary deity of wisdom and knowledge. A wisdom so profound and powerful that it is accessible only to a very small spiritual elite, no more than 1% of initiated mystics. However, in modern times, this ancestral doctrine is resurfacing, manifesting itself not to just anyone, but to those who feel an inexplicable resonance with nature, to those to whom birds seem to pay special attention, appearing at crucial moments in their existence. These are not fortuitous events, but rather an unmistakable call, an invitation to embrace this knowledge. As we continue our examination, the unveiling that is about to unfold has the potential to forever transfigure our perception of reality, opening doors to a deeper understanding of the cosmos and our place within it. If this introduction has resonated with you and you feel the echo of ancient truths vibrating within you, I invite you to leave an immediate like. It will be your silent seal, your tacit affirmation that you are part of this circle of sensitive souls, ready to hear the whispers of the wind and the songs of the heavens. Furthermore, to ensure you don't miss out on future content that will enrich your awareness, we gently but firmly encourage you to consider subscribing to our channel. Your subscription is not just a gesture of support, but a fundamental contribution that allows us to continue our mission, to offer exceptional content that nourishes the mind and enlightens the spirit. The language of nature manifests itself through intricate symbolism, a silent alphabet whose signs can only be deciphered by those who can penetrate the recesses of the invisible world. This knowledge, due to its intrinsic power, was considered dangerous if it fell into unworthy hands. The priests, guardians of this knowledge, believed that its use for selfish purposes could trigger a catastrophic imbalance between the human and spiritual spheres. For this reason, the secret was surrounded by vows of silence and complex rituals designed to ensure that only the purest souls could access it. Communicating with birds, therefore, was not a mere technical skill, but a profound communion with the very essence of life, a tremendous responsibility that required absolute discipline and unconditional reverence. However, in the present time, something extraordinary and unprecedented is happening. The ancient energetic barriers that protected this knowledge are dissolving. Our planet's vibrational frequency is shifting, and with it, the Thoth code is spontaneously reactivating. Ordinary individuals without formal training are beginning to experience remarkable synchronicities related to birds, moments of clarity and guidance that seem to emerge from nowhere, defying all logic and the skepticism of the modern world. These encounters are not mere coincidences. The birds that cross our path at significant moments, that perch at our window or sing a soul-stirring song, are the first messengers of Thoth, who have patiently awaited for millennia the moment when humanity would be ready to awaken. What we are about to discover isn't just about birds, but the activation of a hidden part of ourselves, always connected to this wisdom and now finally called to shine. The rediscovery of this hidden doctrine didn't occur in a forgotten temple or a mystical library, but at the heart of one of the most epochal archaeological discoveries in history. When Howard Carter, in 1922, violated the seal of Tutankhamun's tomb, the entire world was captivated by the magnificence of the gold treasures and the relics of a glorious civilization. Yet, among the artifacts catalogued and destined for museums, one object was discreetly withheld from public view, a rolled-up papyrus whose hieroglyphics were of a nature never before observed by Egyptologists. This document did not narrate epic battles or royal lineages. Once analyzed by a select group of experts in hermetic texts and sacred languages, the revelation was astonishing. The papyrus appeared to be a practical manual, a detailed guide that instructed how to reactivate the human ability to communicate with the collective consciousness of birds. The symbols, vibrant with their own energy, described a system at once simple and unimaginably profound, a true spiritual technology. The text portrayed Thoth not as a deity to be worshipped, but as a supreme architect of consciousness, the one who had mapped 22 fundamental sound frequencies, each correlated with one of the 22 archetypes of sacred birds. Each species served as a specific channel for a particular type of wisdom. Ravens, for example, conveyed messages about the soul's cycles of death and rebirth. Eagles offered far-reaching visions of life's purpose, and small sparrows signaled opportunities for abundance and prosperity on the material plane. The most striking aspect of this methodology lay in its accessibility. Unlike the complex rituals one might expect from such hidden knowledge, Thoth's system was designed to be activated by anyone with pure intention. The secret lay not in years of study or elaborate ceremonies, but in a precise combination of three elements: a specific breathing pattern, a crystalline visualization, and the emission of vowel sounds. Together, these elements created a vibrational bridge between the human mind and the invisible communication network used by birds. This bridge enabled direct dialogue, a flow of information that transcended verbal language, taking the form of a communion between consciousnesses. However, the papyrus included a stern warning, repeated several times throughout the text. The code would only be revealed to those who approached it with a humble heart and the intent of serving the greater good. Intention was the master key. Any attempt to exploit this ability for manipulation, personal gain, or to display superiority would result in absolute and impenetrable silence from the winged messengers. It became clear that power resided not in the technique itself, but in the practitioner's frequency. The papyrus was a map, but the territory to be explored was the human heart. Purity of intention served as a security filter, ensuring that only those aligned with the harmony of nature could access its deepest secrets. This discovery proved that the magic of the ancients was not supernatural, but rather a lost natural science. And now, the signs of this science's return are becoming undeniable. The activation of the Thoth Code is not an event to be marked on a calendar or forced through sheer willpower. Rather, it is a natural unfolding, a moment of alignment that occurs when our vibrational frequency, shaped by experiences and the search for truth, reaches a point of resonance with the pulsating consciousness of nature. The sages of the Nile called this moment the awakening of the ibis within, a metaphor for the activation of our spiritual antenna. The signs that this awakening is taking place within us are clear, subtle, and at the same time impossible to ignore. The first and most obvious clue is the increased frequency with which birds begin to appear in our lives. These are not ordinary sightings, but encounters imbued with meaning, a hawk that appears and circles overhead at the exact moment we contemplate a significant life change, a pair of doves that alight on our balcony the day we decide to open our hearts to love, a hummingbird that appears, hovering in the air, just when we need a sign not to give up on our dreams. The synchronicity becomes so precise that it defies any logical or statistical explanation. The second sign is a profound shift in our perception. We begin to develop a keen intuition, the ability to sense the presence of birds even before we see or hear them. It's as if a dormant part of our consciousness expands, connecting to an invisible communication network that has always been present. We simply know that a specific bird is about to cross our path, and more importantly, an internal feeling, an intuitive download, gives us a clear clue as to the message or energy it is carrying at that precise moment of our journey. The third sign, and the most transformative, is the discovery of a subtle influence. We realize we can establish a silent dialogue with these beings through our focused intention. This isn't mind control or manipulation, but rather a harmonious and respectful interaction. We ask a question clearly and sincerely, and a nearby bird responds with a specific behavior, a song, a flight in a certain direction, or a gesture that serves as an unequivocal confirmation or guidance for our question. It's a wordless conversation based on energy and intention. When these three signs begin to manifest consistently and simultaneously in our lives, there's no room for doubt. It's confirmation that the Thoth code has been activated within us. Our spiritual antenna is turned on and calibrated. We are no longer simply observing nature, but are beginning to participate in its secret dialogue. This is the turning point, the moment we realize that the tools for a deeper understanding of reality do not reside in ancient tomes, but are alive, flying around us, awaiting our attention. This awakening is only the beginning, an invitation to a deeper journey of self-knowledge and connection. The signs are the gateway, indicating that we are ready to learn the language and use this connection consciously. To better understand the topic, allow me to tell you a story. In the heart of an ancient forest, where the trees wove emerald domes and the rivers sang eternal melodies, there once lived a young man named Elian. From an early age, Elian possessed a peculiar sensitivity. The birds seemed to dance around him, and their melodies spoke to him of the joys and worries of the forest. It was an innate resonance, a pure gift that allowed him to perceive the intimate essence of the winged kingdom. One day, a wise royal heron with sapphire feathers and a penetrating gaze landed on the bank of the stream where Elian usually meditated. "Young Elian," croaked the heron, his voice resonant as the wind in the reeds, "your soul was chosen to hear the great harmony, but the path is fraught with peril for those who forget the true essence of the gift." Elian, his eyes shining with reverence, nodded. The heron continued. "Many, hearing the call, approach the bird song with the intent of possessing it, of boasting or profiting from it. They wish the tiny wren to reveal hidden treasures, or the majestic falcon to preach personal glory. But the winged kingdom does not bend to the will of the self. At the first whiff of vanity, songs turn to silence, flights to flight. Still others, gifted with keen intellects, seek to imprison the message in rigid patterns, cataloging every sound, every feather, every flight in a book of pre-packaged symbols. But winged wisdom is not a formula to be memorized. It is an intuition that dances in the heart, an understanding that reveals itself like a flash of light, not like a logical sequence of words. Elian listened intently, understanding that the wise heron was speaking not only to him, but to all who heard the call. The heron concluded, "There are also those who, impatient, wish the secret would be revealed at the first attempt, and seeing no immediate miracles, they withdraw in disappointment, believing that the gift is not for them. But nature teaches the patience of the shoot that awaits the sun, and the constancy of the river that shapes the rock. Finally, there are those who approach with outstretched hands to take, but never to give. They ask for messages and guidance, but forget the sacred law of reciprocity, of offering gratitude, of nourishing the forest, of protecting the skies. Without this exchange, the connection fades like a shadow at sunset. Remember, Elian, birds are mirrors of your soul, and their song is a reflection of the purity of your heart. Only those who approach with humility, patience, an open heart, and the intention of serving universal harmony will be able to hear and fully understand their eternal melody." And so saying, the heron spread its majestic wings, soaring into the gold-tinged sky, leaving Elian with a profound wisdom engraved not only in his mind but in his very soul. However, many, even reaching this point, end up disconnecting again, falling into subtle traps that block the flow of communication. There are fatal errors that most people make, preventing this connection from blossoming fully, and understanding them is the crucial next step to not losing this priceless gift. Even after the signs of awakening appear, many find this connection fading as quickly as it came. They stumble into mental and energetic traps that completely block the communication channel. The most common and fatal mistake is to approach this sacred practice with an egocentric mindset, attempting to control the process, to force a result, or to use the skill to feel special and impress others. This creates an immediate vibrational dissonance. Birds, as beings that operate in pure presence and harmony, sense this controlling frequency and simply drift away. The second major obstacle is the tyranny of the logical mind. Upon receiving a sign, a person immediately attempts to analyze it, dissect it, and fit it into a predefined symbolic system. Read elsewhere. What does a crow mean? What does mythology say about an eagle? This intellectual approach, however insightful it may seem, actually severs the connection with the source of the message. True communication occurs intuitively, through the heart. It is an instant knowledge, an understanding that comes as a feeling, not as a logical conclusion to a symbolic puzzle. Impatience is the third error that sabotages the path of many aspirants. We live in a culture of instant results, and this expectation is projected onto the spiritual path. People try the technique once or twice and, lacking a mystical vision or an overwhelming experience, quickly conclude, "This isn't working for me." Learning the language of nature is like learning a new language or a musical instrument. It requires constant practice, patience, dedication, and above all, unwavering faith in the process, even when the results aren't immediately apparent. The fourth error, and perhaps the most subtle and profound, is a lack of reciprocity. People approach with a take mentality, wanting to receive messages, guidance, and signs, but rarely thinking of giving anything in return. In the Thoth tradition, and in all authentic spiritual traditions, communication with the sacred is a two-way street, an energetic exchange. Something must be offered in return, a sincere feeling of gratitude, the act of leaving fresh water or seeds, a commitment to care for the environment, or the promise to use the wisdom received to help others. Without this exchange, the connection remains superficial, like a phone call that never truly connects. Nature responds to those who present themselves as partners, not merely as consumers of spiritual information. The lack of a gesture of gratitude or a commitment to service creates an energetic vacuum that prevents the building of a trusting relationship with nature's messengers. It's a universal principle. To receive, one must first be willing to give, to actively participate in the cycle of life. Correcting these errors is essential. It requires a shift in posture from one of conquest to one of permission. We must cultivate humility, presence in the moment, a gardener's patience, and a spirit of generosity. In doing so, dissonance dissolves, and communication begins to flow naturally and effortlessly. It is at this point that it becomes possible to learn the specific technique that initiates use to deliberately tune their frequency, a method that opens the door to clear and direct dialogue. For those who have corrected their inner posture and are ready to deepen their connection, there is a practical and powerful method. The secret texts of Thoth describe a specific technique known as the breath of the sacred ibis. This was not a casual exercise, but the master key used by initiates to deliberately attune their vibrational frequency to that of the collective consciousness of birds. The practice requires more than simple curiosity. It demands a genuine commitment to one's inner transformation and a profound respect for the process that is about to begin. The first step is preparing the environment. Find a serene place in nature where you can be silent and free from interruptions. The most favorable times are dawn and dusk, as during these hours the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds thins, facilitating communication. Sit comfortably with your back straight and close your eyes. Let go of everyday worries, focusing solely on the intention of connecting with the wisdom of nature in a respectful and loving way. Your breathing follows a precise rhythmic pattern designed to alter your state of consciousness. Inhale slowly through your nose, counting to 4 in your mind, while visualizing a brilliant golden light descending from the sky and entering through the crown of your head. Then, hold your breath in your lungs for a count of 7, allowing that golden light to gather and expand in the region of your heart, warming your chest. Finally, exhale gently through your mouth for a count of 8, imagining that light projecting from your heart out into the world around you. On each exhalation, as the light extends from you, silently repeat in your mind the sacred mantra, Thrama. This sound is not a sequence of random words. It is a vibrational formula meaning Thoth, bring me the message. The combination of the breathing rhythm, the visualization of light, and the vibration of the mantra work together to raise your frequency. Practice this complete breathing cycle at least 21 times, allowing yourself to delve deeper into the state of peace and receptivity it generates. At the end of the 21 cycles, you will find yourself in an altered state of consciousness. Your mind will be calm and your perception sharpened. It is at this moment that you should gently open your eyes without any expectations. Don't search for a specific bird or force a vision. Simply observe your surroundings with relaxed attention. Allow nature to come to you. The first bird that captures your attention, that enters your field of vision in a meaningful way, will be your messenger. Interpreting the message won't be an intellectual process. In the state of expanded consciousness induced by the technique, the message will come as intuitive and instantaneous knowledge. You will simply know what the presence of that bird means to you in that moment. It will be a direct download of clarity, a response that resonates in your heart and soul, not in your analytical mind. This is the essence of direct communication, and with practice, you will learn to decode the nuances of the different messages they carry. Once the connection is established through proper practice and intention, one begins to notice patterns in communication. Masters who followed the teachings of Thoth through centuries of observation catalogued 7 main categories of messages that birds convey to humanity. Each category is linked to a specific area of human experience and is often, but not exclusively, conveyed by certain types of birds that act as specialists in their respective domains of wisdom. The first category is transformation and rebirth. These profound messages are usually carried by birds such as crows, vultures, or buzzards, creatures that modern culture mistakenly associates only with death. In truth, they are masters of cycles, appearing when one phase of your life is ending, so that a new and more authentic one can begin. Their repeated presence is an invitation to surrender to change, to release what no longer serves you, and to trust the process of rebirth unfolding within your soul. The second category is vision and purpose. These messages come through majestic birds of prey such as eagles, hawks, and buzzards. They appear in moments of doubt or confusion regarding your career, your life mission, or the next big step you need to take. Their presence is a call to rise above worldly concerns, gain a broader perspective, and see your situation with the clarity and focus of a celestial hunter, realigning you with your true purpose and highest calling. The third category of messages concerns love and relationships. These heart-centered messages are often communicated by doves, turtle doves, and other birds known to form monogamous pairs. They tend to appear when you're facing important decisions regarding your love life, family relationships, or close friendships. Their appearance is an invitation to emotional healing, forgiveness, and openness to deeper and more genuine connections based on loyalty and true affection. The fourth category is abundance and manifestation. These vibrant messages are delivered by small, swift, and colorful birds, such as hummingbirds, canaries, and goldfinches. Their sudden presence is an energetic confirmation that your desires and intentions are materializing on the physical plane. They are a reminder of the sweetness of life and an encouragement to continue aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the prosperity you seek, trusting that the universe is conspiring in your favor. The fifth category is protection and hidden wisdom. These messages come from the realm of the night through owls and other nocturnal birds. They appear as guardians in times of spiritual challenge, when you may feel vulnerable to negative energies or lost in the darkness of uncertainty. The silent presence of an owl is a powerful reminder that you are protected by invisible forces and possess the inner wisdom needed to see through illusions and find the truth. The sixth and seventh categories are interconnected. The sixth is communication and expression, brought by vocal birds like parrots, jays, and thrushes, who encourage us to use our voices and speak our truth. The seventh, and perhaps the most special, is direct connection with the divine. This message is delivered by extremely rare birds, or those that appear completely outside their natural habitat. Seeing them is an unmistakable sign of divine intervention, a personal message sent directly from the spiritual realm, an event so significant it can change the course of your life. And to seal this connection, there is a final step, the permanent activation ritual, performed only once. Everything presented so far, from awakening the signs to mastering the techniques, converges toward a single culmination. In the most closely guarded texts of the Thoth tradition, there is a description of a sacred ritual, a procedure that must be performed only once in a lifetime, known as the sacred marriage with the spirit of the ibis. Its purpose is to permanently seal the channel of communication, transforming a practiced skill into an integral part of one's being. This is the step that separates the student from the master. Preparation for this ritual is as important as the act itself. You will need 7 feathers from 7 different bird species, all found naturally as gifts from the earth, never taken by force. Also, a small ceramic container filled with pure spring or rainwater and a single white candle. The ritual must be performed during the darkness of the new moon, the time of greatest potential for new beginnings, in a secluded spot in nature where you are certain you will not be disturbed for at least a few hours. Once you have reached the chosen location, begin by creating a sacred circle on the ground, using the 7 feathers as markers with the tips facing inward. Place the unlit white candle in the exact center of the circle. Sit in a comfortable meditative position facing east, the direction of the rising sun. Then begin the sacred ibis breath practice, but this time with an even more focused intention. Complete 49 full cycles, a sacred number representing 7 times 7, the completion of a great cycle of learning. After the final breath cycle, when your energy is at its peak and your mind is completely calm, light the candle in the center of the circle. Take the container of pure water in your hands and, holding it before your heart, pronounce aloud and clearly, with complete sincerity, "Great Thoth, Lord of Wisdom, Keeper of Mysteries, I come before you with humility and reverence. I ask permission to become a living bridge between the worlds. I promise to use this sacred gift for the greater good and in service of the evolution of consciousness." After the declaration, take a small sip of water, internalizing your intention, then gently pour the remaining water into the base of the lit candle, symbolizing the union of your consciousness, the water, with the flame of the universal spirit, the fire. This act seals your commitment. Now comes the most challenging and crucial part of the ritual, the wait. You must remain in absolute silence in a state of total receptivity with an open heart until a bird lands within or very close to your sacred circle. It could take just a few minutes, or it could take hours. Time is irrelevant. Your ability to maintain faith, patience, and the purity of your intention is the true final test. The bird's arrival is not a coincidence. It is nature's response, the acceptance of your request. When it finally appears, you will feel an energetic shift throughout your being. At that moment, the ritual will be complete. Your ability to communicate will be permanently activated and your perception of reality will be forever transformed. But how can you know if you were destined for this from the beginning? The ability to perform the activation ritual and master this sacred language is not a destiny reserved for everyone in this lifetime. The teachings of Thoth clearly state that only certain souls, those who already carry a spiritual history of initiations in past lives, are truly ready to receive and integrate this gift. It's not a matter of being better or worse, but of a specific soul plan. There are clear and distinct signs that can indicate if you are one of these chosen souls, predestined to become a bridge between the worlds. The first sign, and one of the most common, is a deep and inexplicable attraction to birds, manifesting from early childhood. If as a child you spent hours watching them, collected feathers, felt immense sadness at seeing a wounded bird, or had recurring dreams of flying freely in the skies, this was no ordinary childhood imagination. It was your soul remembering an ancient connection, a call that echoed through time, signaling an innate affinity with the winged kingdom. The second sign is a natural affinity, and a calming effect on animals in general. If animals, especially the more shy ones like birds, tend to approach you without fear while maintaining their distance from others, this is a strong indicator. If you possess the instinctive ability to calm a frightened or injured animal simply by your presence or the gentle touch of your hands, this demonstrates that your vibrational frequency already operates within a spectrum of harmony and trust that the animal kingdom recognizes and responds positively to. The third sign manifests in the world of dreams and spiritual experiences. If you have had experiences of astral projection, lucid dreams in which you could fly with complete control and joy, or if during deep meditation you felt your body become so light that it seemed to float, this indicates that your consciousness is already familiar with non-physical states. Your soul already knows the freedom and perspective of flight, making connecting with avian consciousness a much more natural and intuitive step for you than for most. The fourth sign is a greater sensitivity to sounds, music, and frequencies. If you're someone who can perceive subtle sounds that go unnoticed by others, who feels uncomfortable in loud and chaotic environments, or for whom music has the power to profoundly alter emotional and conscious states, this reveals that your auditory system, both physical and subtle, is more refined. This sensitivity is a prerequisite for perceiving the vibrational nuances and subtle messages contained in birdsong and calls. The fifth and final sign is an innate connection with the elements of air and ether. If you feel energized and renewed in high places like mountaintops, if you love the feeling of the wind on your face as if it were the caress of an old friend, or if you naturally gravitate toward practices like meditation, visualization, and subtle energy work, this demonstrates that you are naturally aligned with the elements that govern the heavens and communication. If you recognize yourself in at least 3 of these signs, your presence here, reading these words, is not a coincidence. It is a reunion. The transformation your reality undergoes after mastering this art is epical. When communication with birds ceases to be an occasional practice and becomes an integral part of your perception, your daily life is transfigured in ways that once seemed to belong to the realm of fantasy. Not only do you gain a personal and omnipresent spiritual guide, but you become an active node in a vast network of planetary consciousness. Birds become your eyes and ears, your remote senses, bringing you information and insights into events far beyond your immediate physical reach. Advanced practitioners of this art consistently report receiving early warnings of natural events, describing sudden and unusual changes in the behavior of local birds, hours or even days before an earthquake, a major storm, or other significant weather change. Others have discovered they can actively use this connection to help others, locating lost pets or even missing people, simply by asking for guidance and following the signs and flight paths the birds displayed in response. However, the most profound and significant transformation occurs internally. By continually aligning yourself with the consciousness of the birds, you begin to embody their essential qualities: presence in the present, freedom from attachment, and a profound trust in the flow of life. Your decisions become quicker, more intuitive, and invariably more accurate, as they are no longer based solely on limited logic, but on a broader wisdom. Your ability to manifest your desires accelerates dramatically as you learn to co-create in harmony with the forces of nature. You develop what the ancient Egyptians called the vision of Horus, or eagle vision, the ability to rise above immediate dramas and problems and discern the larger patterns at play in your life and those of those around you. This translates into immense wisdom in relationships, keen discernment in business, and a crystal clear understanding of your soul's purpose. You will cease to be a victim of circumstance and become conscious navigators of the river of life, able to see the bends and rapids long before you reach them. Even more, you become a living channel for the ancestral wisdom of the earth itself. Birds are one of the oldest life forms on the planet, carrying within their collective consciousness a memory stretching back millions of years. By connecting with them, you access that living library. Knowledge of healing plants, the location of forgotten power sites, and even flashes of memory from ancient civilizations may begin to emerge in your awareness, as if you were remembering something you've always known. This transformation takes you to a new level of existence. You are no longer just a human being living on Earth. You become a caretaker of the Earth, a conscious partner in the great symphony of life. Loneliness becomes a distant memory, as you are perpetually surrounded by friends and messengers. Life ceases to be a struggle and becomes a dance, and it is at this point that you understand the true scope of Thoth's legacy and your new sacred mission on this planet. Once you have fully mastered this skill, your personal life transcends and takes on a new, profound meaning. You realize that this gift has not been granted to you solely for your benefit, but so that you can serve a greater purpose. You become an active member of a global network of energy communicators and stabilizers, people who, like you, silently work in harmony with nature to maintain the planet's energetic balance. Birds become your constant allies, your traveling companions, ensuring you always remain aligned with your highest path. You discover that communication isn't merely passive. You can send messages, intentions, and healing energy through the bird's network of consciousness to other people or places in need of support. You become a beacon of light, capable of positively influencing your environment in subtle yet powerful ways. The ability to predict change, locate the lost, and influence events becomes secondary to the joy of actively participating in maintaining the harmony of life on Earth. We have traveled along ancient paths, deciphering age-old whispers and awakening the knowledge dormant within each of us. If these words have ignited a spark in your spirit, if the beating of wings of this revelation has found an echo in your heart, then I ask you to leave a mark. Give this video a like, and in that gesture I will sense your soulmate, your affinity with the cosmic breath we have explored. But don't stop there. Leave a comment with the word winged soul to let us know you are ready to soar, that your consciousness is ready to soar toward unexplored horizons. And if you wish to continue walking these paths of light and wisdom, I wholeheartedly invite you to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss a single fragment of this shared journey. Your presence is the wind beneath our wings, a breath of life that allows us to continue to give, to illuminate, to awaken. I thank you from the depths of my being for sharing this sacred moment with us. May your path always be illuminated by ancestral wisdom. May your heart be a nest for every melody that comes to you from the heavens. And may you, every day, feel the caress of a winged soul. May the light envelop you, and the song of life guide you eternally. With deepest respect and gratitude, I bid you farewell. See you soon.